MTDCNC, bringing you the latest engineering news, reviews, events and special offers via video media.
Welcome to the latest Vodcast. Thank you all for joining us. As usual, Paul, Joe, thank you for joining me.
Okay.
And we're also going to have someone else joining us later, our friend Mark. So we'll have a chat with him in a little while. I'd like to cover off one thing very quickly. Since the last two Vodcasts, we've had over 2,000 views, which is absolutely fantastic. So I hope you found it informative and thank you for watching. Let's get straight into it. So, Paul, Joe, news. What's been going on?
Plenty as always, but a few of note. Bloom Novatest's got a brand new UK facility. We all know Bloom, a leading probe manufacturer. They're limiting factors in the UK. They've had like barrier to entries. And it's been a lack of a machine tool at their facility to demonstrate their product. Them days have gone. They've got a new facility, new machine tool, and it's a test bed to take their clients to. It's impressive.
I guess it would be difficult to sell a probe without actually being able to see it in action. So
absolutely. I guess you'd have to take them to existing clients, but now it's much better. It's a good facility.
And talking about facilities, Mazak have just opened a new European tech centre in Belgium. And this is 4,600 metres square, so it's a huge facility. And they can actually, it's for holding spare parts and so forth, and they can actually ship over 20,000 parts per month from there. And the beauty of it is it's actually open or you can get parts 365 days a year shipped, which means even on Christmas Day or Boxing Day, if you're in need,
okay,
you can get a part. And when we talk about the amount of parts, spare parts they'll have, there's 35,000. And it can accommodate Mazak machines, whether they're new or even some of the oldest machines in the range you can get parts for.
Right, so machines, what, 20, 30 years old?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so a couple of key points, huge facility, delivered next day in the UK?
In the UK, yeah.
And goodbye to any holidays you're expecting there, guys, as well.
Yeah, because you'll be working over Christmas.
Absolutely. Joe?
ITC, they're doing a programme, I guess like an educational type programme. They're encouraging engineers to use trochoidal milling techniques, which is you reduce your radial depth of cut, use a constant feed rate, which is higher, and ultimately remove more chips, make more money, reduce cycle times effectively.
Can I suggest watching a video on that one?
We haven't done one yet, but it's probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, we could do an educational video on
trochoidal milling.
Yeah, there we are. Yeah, it's ITC and also the Whittier Vari-Mill, but two highlight products.
Gotcha.
The Engineering Technology Group have just opened a new facility in Warwickshire, and I keep talking about sizes of places, but this is actually 17,500 square feet, and it's going to be used in conjunction with their showroom, which they have in Southam. It's going to be used for pre-delivery and inspection of machines. So it will as that company's grown, they're selling a lot more machines. They're streamlining the process so that you've got a showroom for where people can come and look at machines when they want to buy them. And then to keep the process or to make things efficient, they've got this new warehouse or facility where they can ship them. They also do service and spares from there as well. We talk regularly about WNT on the Vodcast, and they've always got innovative ideas. And the most recent one is that they'll supply you with a green recycling box for your carbide. Right. So that basically, when you've got carbide and it can be recycled, put in the green box, sent back to WNT, and then what they'll give you in exchange for that is credits towards tooling.
Okay, so they're coming up with quite a few sort of innovative things because they had the sort of reward scheme last.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, excellent.
There's always something new with them. They're always looking to have the edge and do something different, and that's a good scheme.
Sodic, they've come up with a good idea. Obviously, purchasing any machine tool is a big investment, and ultimately they need servicing or they may even break down. And they've come up with this idea, you'll never be charged more than 2 hours driving time, whereas you might be, obviously a Midlands-based company, you might be down in Southampton. Fear not, you'll only get two hours travelling charged.
Well, I can get from Midlands to Southampton in 2 hours.
I know you can, unfortunately.
In the helicopter.
Yeah, I've seen you drive, Paul. Yeah, we know you can do it in 2 hours.
Yeah, it's a good idea, it's a good scheme.
Excellent, okay.
The AMRC, we visited the AMRC. We went to the 2050 event. We were invited to that, which was good. We interviewed Will Sterling, and it was a really good interview. So let's have a look at that. Will, good to see you today. I thought this would be a good opportunity to get from yourself how you see manufacturing at the moment in the UK.
Well, Paul, I think manufacturing is in a very strong place. We see the the big, sexy, visible sectors like automotive, aerospace, perhaps less so pharmaceuticals, which I think has dropped a bit in employment in recent weeks. But those sectors are going well. You can see automotive growing great guns, due to make maybe 2 million vehicles in the next few months. That's the SMMT's forecast. And aerospace equally buoyant, with Airbus and the big OEMs having large order books. I think.
What about the SMEs? We talk about OEMs, but what about the small and medium-sized companies?
Well, that's my own personal interest, and I think also the interest of many commentators and politicians more recently. Of course, it's all very well having multinationals in a country, and the UK has certain benefits, tax breaks and location for that, but if you can't provide local suppliers, you're not really benefiting UK PLC. I mean, automotive, for example, they've tried to do an awful lot of work with the Automation Investment Council. Is it part of the Automotive Council? Automotive Investment Council, sorry. That they are looking at ways of domesticising the supply chain. So we use fewer multinationals or German companies, for example, Japanese companies, for parts in cars, and more locally made parts. It is difficult though, because if you're a large OEM like a Nissan or a Toyota, you need to be able to get parts in such high volumes. And over the last 30 years, there's been such a hollowing out of the supply chain that not so many British companies are available to produce parts. They can do it to the same quality, but not in the volume. So there's that bridge to gap. But I think organisations like the Proving Factory and the Catapults are doing what they can to lift British suppliers up to the sort of requisite level of supply. Yeah.
I've been to the Proving Factory, and it is a fantastic facility there. But going forward, there's obviously, or there could be, some changes in government in the next couple of months, or in the next few weeks, in fact. How do you see going forward?
I think any government that's voted in the next election will probably ring fence, or at least secure, the industrial strategy, the main tenets of that 5-pillar strategy that Vince Cable launched in September 2012. That's not just my thumb in the air. It genuinely has been expressed by people like Chuka Umunna that they will keep that secure. So I think we're confident that there'll be investments and conviction where strategic parts of the industry will develop in the next parliamentary term. If you look at areas like tax, for example, I think it's disappointing that the incumbent government decided to take away the investment allowance, the annual investment allowance, which currently stands at, I think, £500,000, and they were due to stop that or reduce it to something like 25,000, or was it £100,000? I mean, I think a government with real conviction in the longevity, the long-term future of industry should maintain that capital allowance to a high level. It gives companies, SMEs that we mentioned, a real incentive to buy new capital equipment and write off their oldest equipment.
I mean, in some ways they could have been their own worst enemy on that, because it has been such a success for manufacturing and certainly for the machine tool industry. But yeah, I have seen over recent years that investment in machine tools and engineering companies have really flourished. Let's hope that carries on. Thank you very much for your time today, Will. See you again soon.
Thanks, Paul. Nice to see you.
That was an interesting video, Paul.
Yeah, it was. Will is a very well-known journalist from within the manufacturing industry. A lot of the conversations we have surround machining and technologies, but he actually really focuses on manufacturing as a whole. So it's a really good insight.
You talk about technology, and Will, in the March edition of MWP, he's done a piece on smart tooling. Obviously, we were many tooling providers, but this is going a stage further. It's talking about what's going to be, well, not in the future, it's happening today, but it's basically taking old methods and bringing them into the 21st century.
He's a great writer, and that whole listening to him about the 2050 event is all about the future, isn't it?
Quite.
And it's just about, like he said, trying to get SMEs to buy into and engage with this is so important. So hopefully we can achieve that along with him too. Any other stories in MWP?
Yeah, there's plenty, but one of note is the VariCut.
What's that?
It's
anti-collision software.
Right.
So basically, if you are machining a very complex component and you're programming for that part, often you might need an operator to actually oversee the whole process. But with the anti-collision software, you can do it offline, and you can actually go through the machining path offline, so that when you do it on the machine, you know you're not going to have a smash up of a tool. And the Pentaxia video that we did on behalf of Vericut, really successful, a brilliant company, and actually, you know, they're using Vericut and they couldn't live without it. It's made such a difference to their business.
It's a good video because quite often, especially software, it's very difficult to demonstrate, you know, in a magazine how that comes across. But it's a really informative video, that.
But I think that article and that video together,
Quite,
really
yeah,
good for
absolutely.
Excellent. All right, so news, so that's pretty much a wrap up on news. I suppose one thing worth mentioning is a budget which we had recently. I didn't really see a lot on the engineering side of things, but there's a lot of support for the oil and gas industry because of what's happened with the oil price, but that's about it really.
That's good though, it needs to be. I mean, it's a market that has been depressed of late. Yep. It goes through, it's very cyclic, it's feast or famine, but hopefully, if we're in famine at the moment, hopefully it's going to improve.
Absolutely. So, another key thing is the MTD site, the social media and the website. So what's been going on with that?
We've just installed some new servers at MTD, and these are really to help us as we grow, because we're actually developing a new MTDCNC website, which is going to, come to fruition soon. We've also got some other projects in hand, but I think, as Joe's probably going to tell you about, our reach is really impressive at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. The website continues to grow, well over 30,000 again the last 2 months. And YouTube, it's great for us. 25,000 views in the last 28 days. Massive part of what we do now. So, and well, our reach, 70,000.
That's 70,000.
Remarkable. If we'd have sat down 3 years ago and we would have thought our reach was going to be 70,000. But what is exciting, you know, we're nowhere near at the top. You know, we're not even at the tip of the iceberg yet, in my eyes. We'll have a reach of a million a year.
We work very closely with the digital media team, and these guys really know what they're doing, and we've got some really serious plans over the next year or so, and we would be expecting that reach to be, it will be, in terms of a year, well over 1 million, 2 million reach.
Just a huge market you're going out to.
Heading the charge.
Absolutely. Great to hear, guys, and over 1 million reach very soon is absolutely fantastic. Another thing you do is events. I know you've been out to quite a few. Hopefully you haven't been banned from any yet, but so if you can let me know where you've been.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd start with this one. The most exciting thing, or most exciting event I've been to is Old Trafford recently, a couple of weeks ago. I went to see Arsenal beat Manchester United, much to Joe's disappointment. I bought this with me today as a memento. There you go, Joe. Even got my name on the back.
Good, I need a comfort break.
You're not going to try and put it on, are you?
No, certainly not. No.
It might be stretchy, but we're abusing hospitality there.
Well, I've got a far better event, Zola Open House.
Okay, yeah, back to engineering.
Back to it. No, we go to a lot of these open houses, don't we? But the Zola one, didn't know what to expect. It's their first one, inaugural event. I think they had 5 or 6 partners there. Obviously, some of their in-house collective partners, SYS, 3D printing, Zola themselves, optical inspection, radial inspection, Kenner Metal, umpteen people there. Over the 2 days, very well attended, over 140 people through the 2 days, and just full of market-leading technology. Brilliant.
It's a lot of people. It's a lot of people to an event.
It is, because quite often these things are annual and people are expecting them, but it's actually the first one. So that's the hardest bit, really, getting people to the first one. And it's a great event, and I'm sure next year will be better. Well, in fact, they've got more planned for this year. So
we went to the Trump Open House, and Caroline was kind enough to guide us around the new facility they've got there, which is like a technical centre, which features areas where you can go if you've got service issues or for training. It's a really nice facility at Trump. Lots of automation technology. We did a video there as well, which was really good.
Okay.
The 2 DMG Mori Ecoline events, equally well attended. Obviously the Ecoline, we all know what it's about. It's DMG Mori technology. It's a lower cost base. There's hardly a compromise, really. We've got videos on the site. Go and have a look at them. They're really good.
Yeah, they're really good machines. They're really good videos, good machines. Okay. We've spoken about the 2050 event at the AMRC, so we won't labour on that one, but that was a good event. And I'm not going to steal Mark's thunder, but we went to WFL as well, which was in Austria, and we'll talk about that in more detail in due course. Absolutely.
So a lot of events attended. Moving on from that aspect then, events up and coming. What's going on?
Again, we'll probably whip through these because there's a lot up and coming, but we've got a Mazak open house up and coming. And then there's some open days for Delcam as well, isn't there?
Yeah, multiple, yeah.
Yeah. Herco have got an open house in conjunction with Dorma, which is one of our clients as well on the tooling side, and that's in Chesterfield. And Open Mind have also got some days at Mazak where they've got events showcasing their CAD CAM software.
Yeah, Ajax Machine Tools, they've got one coming up with their northern distributor.
And that we're also off to Europe again. We're going to potentially go to the Starag factory to go. I mean, these are again really, really big machines, and to watch some high precision machine building going on. And there's also other open houses in Europe which we've been invited to. So, I mean, I think when you can look on the website and you can see the events page and it's detailed there. So, and it does keep you up to date with what's happening this month, next month, and thereafter.
Absolutely. Okay, excellent. So lots of events going on as usual. Videos. I know you guys are out videoing all the time. So where have you been?
5-axis spinner machine.
Right.
We did a review. Where we did it was in a customer that had bought one, and it's a really neat video, 2.5, 3 minutes long. Lots of little features about the machine which stand out. But most importantly described by the engineer who owned it as the Mercedes of a machine tool. So you can't get more of a compliment than that.
A happy customer, definitely.
Absolutely.
Ari Thompson, a very happy customer. They're a DMG user, but we actually went there on behalf of FastM's Automation. And the whole gist of the conversation is FastM's say if you've got a horizontal machining centre, you get better value out of automating that one than you would buying a second one. And it's quite an interesting payoff, really. Obviously, the more machines you've got, it becomes more and more attractive. But if you've got one, certainly two horizontals, they can pretty much demonstrate to you you're better off automating those two. It's quite informative. And the other good thing is you don't need, excuse me, thousands and thousands of components. Some of their work is 5, 10, maximum 25 off. So you don't need volume.
Well, I think that's the key, really. I mean, it's not about volume, and that was the message that came across there, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's attractive for SMEs as well. When you talk automation, we've all seen it on TV. These blue chip multinationals, but it is affordable. SMEs should be embracing that technology.
Did we mention it last time in terms of you don't need a massive production run?
You don't, and it's an education. It's about educating, and the guys that are doing it are winning the battle, and the ones that aren't are losing. Automation is without a doubt the future.
So doesn't that come back to automation, but moving with technology, which came to back to the article?
It's a collective, absolutely. It's a collective. You've been out on other Romy jobs as well, haven't you?
Yeah, two more. We went to a seals company, but one of a highlight for myself and Ian, our media manager rather, was a Progressive Motorsport, fabulous facility, well known within that sector. And it's their first two machine tools. They went to the marketplace and Romy come out on top, hands down. They can't speak highly enough of the machines. They're really good.
So they've not got machines before?
No, always subcontracted out. And they've pulled these two machine tools in and they're inundated with work now.
Right. So it sounds like Romy going great guns because they've only had a UK office, is this right, for 3 years?
Around 3 years, and they've actually, January to March this year, it's a record quarter. So, onwards and upwards.
Yeah, I hear a lot about them. Yeah, that's good. We also did, we visited one of a guy I used to try and sell machines to called CNF Engineering, Neil Friendly, who, again, very welcoming.
Should I ask, did you actually sell him any machines?
I didn't, no.
Bit of a theme there every time you ask that question.
Why do I no longer sell machine tools? Because I couldn't. But Neil was very accommodating, and we spoke about, we've done videos on the Nakamura installation, which actually, when you look at the cycle times they saved from using a Nakamura machine and the operations that they saved, they had a part, from memory, 11 minutes comes into my mind, and I believe that's the sort of cycle time saving they were experiencing by using a Nakamura, purely because they could do multiple operations in one hit without changing components from machine to machine. And they also gave us some time to talk about their Matsuura machining centres, which have been very, very productive and hugely reliable, and they'd never go to anybody else for a horizontal. So that was a good video.
Another one to mention, we've done 3 at Tame Work Holding. Paul did a great job with Danny there. It's like their internal technical sales manager. And they picked 3 highlight products and basically just describes the features and benefits of those 3 products. I'm sure you already know the products, but they actually do a lot more than you'd think. Okay, it's a vice, we all know what a vice does, but there's something different.
The thing is, you still go into a machine shop and 9 times out of 10 people just use traditional vices.
Crazy though, isn't it?
I know, yeah.
Okay.
Again, maybe this is a good medium to get that message across, but they are 3 really good videos. Yeah.
Yeah, Noon Machine Tools. They are, we touched on it earlier, but they are the exclusive northern distributor of all Ajax machine tool products. We went up there and we had a good chat with Ajax and Noon about the relationship, and ironically that's pretty much where Ajax started, so almost, you know, they're going home, Ajax going home.
Okay.
A couple of other installation ones I'd touch on. First one was, you talk about oil and gas, we went to Main Tool in Scotland, and they're massively into oil and gas, and we went up there and did a review of their Samsung machines, which they bought from Dugard. And it's all oil and gas work, but they're still busy, and they're still busy because they're at the forefront of their game. You know, they've got the right machines from Dugard, and, you know, it's a really good business, good video. And also Spencel's Engineering in Leeds. They've got a Victor machines, and they've got 2 machining cells, one for turning and one for milling. And quite uniquely these days, there's no loyalty often in buying machine tools. People will buy whatever brand is right at the time. But Spencel's is a great example of someone that has really got only one brand of machine, and you go in there and it's a Victor machine shop. Really good video.
Gotcha. Okay. Any others?
Yeah, CNC International. Paul did this one with a gent from CNC International on one of their Cebu EDM machines. It's a great insight to EDM in particular, in general, but obviously the Cebu in particular.
Yeah, that EDM, the Cebu machine, is actually CNC International supply EDM solutions both at the competitively priced end of the market, but also the high performance. And the Cebu is very much aimed at people that are looking at, we talk about reducing cycle times, but reducing cycle times on EDM wire cutting, also achieving better tolerances and drilling holes in smaller diameter, or using smaller or less diameter wire.
Hepco Motion, we did one on behalf of Goering. Solid carbide end mill, but it can be used for multiple operations. You can plunge, you know, straight down in Z, ramp at 45 degrees, and achieve great cycle times. It's a good video.
We saw that at Coventry University as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
That ramping, they actually smashed a tool up there, which was good because they wanted to show the difference between the 3 different tool holders with the same tool. And the more expensive tool holder was when the tool smashed. That's
So
coming in a video.
watch a video basically.
MTDCNC, bringing you the latest engineering news, reviews, events and special offers via video media.
So some of our sharper viewers will notice that Joe has somewhat changed. He's actually gone for lunch, so it's going to be, what, 3-4 hours at least?
Probably,
so,
no, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mark, thanks for joining us.
Colin, nice to see you again.
Tell us about what's been going on.
Yeah, I've got 3 main visits that we've been on. One which obviously Paul came with us as well was Simon Pollard from the MD of Cole Machine Tools invited us to WFL, which is in Austria, Linz. Fantastic factory. They've got many new machines that they're launching, new technologies. There's a video coming out within the next week on the site, which is fantastic. But one thing I also found amazing is that they've got so many partners there, but they pay for the privilege of actually being there, which is something very different, isn't it?
Yeah, they obviously see a benefit to it.
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised, because if you look at that level of technology that they had there, I think the biggest thing that I took from that event was that they don't sell machines to sell a machine, they actually sell processes. So if you go to them, they were saying, if you come to us and say, well, actually, I need this part making and this has got to be on it and that's got to be on it, they'll develop a machine and then sell that into their production. And one of their machines was the one that had additive manufacturing on it. So you could turn, mill, and then you could actually almost like 3D print metal onto the shaft and then machine it again. Not many machines do that.
Also, we interviewed Simon Pollard from a UK perspective. Simon's got a vast knowledge of the UK market and background in machine tools, and I'd urge engineers to look at that. It's really good. Second one, Hope Technologies. Tony Pennington, MD of WNT, asked us to come along in reference to video the launch of their team, WNT, which is the women's cycling team, which is fantastic. However, we took the opportunity to actually...
Did you get on that?
No, I'm afraid not. Lycra doesn't fit, I'm afraid.
Hold that thought.
With that in mind, we took the opportunity to actually sort of look at Hope Technologies, why they're embedded into WNT's philosophy with tooling. Really good videos. It's had lots of hits, and I think WNT are actually looking to actually promote the video themselves.
It's been one of our most successful videos actually to date in terms of the amount of times it's been watched. Something like 300 times within the first couple of days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the women's cycling team.
Oh, actually, good point. Didn't think of that.
Just a question. Okay.
No comment.
Actually, I'm going to watch it again later.
MTA dinner. We was kindly invited again as MTA guests. Fantastic night, really, really good to see a lot of people. But one thing that I found over the years of being in this industry is the amount of people that we don't know tapped us on the shoulder. You're the guys that do the videos. It's MTD. Fantastic. I thought it was really, really nice touch.
I also had a small rumour that one of the people was heard to be pestering a Geordie BBC presenter. Is that correct?
Steph?
Is that me?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
It was Paul, because I got a photo of it. Poor girl. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, just a couple of stories I'd like to mention that have been on the site recently. WRW Engineering, based in Walton-on-Thames, they've invested in a new HAS EC400. It's fitted with a wireless probing system which reduces their setup time, so it's a good read.
That's a horizontal machining centre. That's quite a niche market, but yeah, okay, that's a good story.
Another good story from DMG. Kent Cam's based in Folkestone. They manufacture many camshafts and for the motorsport industry, like Ferrari, Aston Martin, McLaren and Cosworth. They've invested in a DMG Mori NLX 2500. Has enabled the company to cut machines, all of their machining times by a third.
That's a big saving.
Yeah, huge saving. Okay. Any other stories?
Not so much stories, but one thing I'd like to mention is since we've introduced the metrology tab on our homepage, we're working with some key companies like Measurement Solutions, Hexagon Metrology, Mitutoyo, and it demonstrates that the thirst for information for engineer in reference to metrology is very high, and I'm sure this is going to grow, so more customers are going to come on board with MTD.
It's a big point. I mean, we also just did a review on the Hexagon metrology product, and there's so much to learn in that arena. You know, measuring CMM, reverse engineering, it's a whole, it's huge.
You know, we're looking quite confident. I would say around about 10 to 15 new customers that we'll have on board within the next 6 months. And like I say, it's very much putting new products, more opportunity of choice for engineers, but also the news, the video side of it. It's, as Joe and Paul have said, you know, the number of, visibility into the marketplace is so impressive.
There's a comment that sometimes comes out, and it's interesting. People would say, if you had 200 clients on your website, would I get diluted? The answer to that is actually no. The more people that are on the website, it's better, because there's more pages, there's more visitors, there's more to see, so therefore everybody benefits more.
Gotcha.
And it's an important point to put across, actually, because that's what we're striving to achieve. We're not just in it to get hundreds and hundreds of clients, we're in it to provide and build a product which is the most educational.
Add some value.
Yeah. We don't just want to talk about machine tools or cutting tools. We want to talk about software, metrology, 3D printing, additive manufacture, whatever it might be, technology in a whole.
I think what you're saying, key to that is you're actually able, it's not just a set product, we're able to develop and move on and make things change just to really add that extra value.
Like any business, you got to listen to your customers, and not only our customers but the users of the websites. Listen to what they want, the thirst for knowledge, and make sure that you've got those ingredients and you've got a successful platform.
Gotcha. Guys, aware that time is running on, so I'm going to wrap it up there. So once again, loads of news, events, products. Thank you for joining us. Joe's probably into his third, fourth burger by now, so we'll see him next time as well. Guys, if you do want to get mentioned on the next Vodcast, please email into us. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Colin.
See you next time.
Cheerio.
Yeah, good to see you.
For more videos, products and news, go to mtdcnc.com or follow MTD Online on Twitter.